Olivia walked into Danville's office, a paper in hand. The picture she died with, the picture of her father. Hello there, I'm Danville. You must be Olivia. Hi. So, I guess I'll explain why I'm here. I've been in hell for many years, but yet, I still haven't found my father, who I heard was in hell. You know what? Let me tell you how I ended up in this damn place. September 17th, 1937. It's been the entire day since Alistair left. Where was he? Olivia turns to the radio channel her daddy was usually on, only to be told to shut the radio off. The babysitter seemed upset about something, but refused to say why. Get in the car, Olivia. We're driving to your new home. Olivia obliterally went to the car, as she had been driven to her quote-unquote new home. She stared out the window. The only one thing in her mind was, where is her father? She ended up dozing off for a brief moment, waking up when the car stopped. She looked out the window again, and she was now in an orphanage. Her and the babysitter went inside the orphanage. Olivia felt uneasy. She felt that she didn't belong. The babysitter checked on Olivia and told the nuns something Olivia didn't hear. The babysitter went to Olivia to say goodbye. Now, Olivia, be good for Mother Eve. I must go. What about my father? He cannot be with you right now. You will meet him again someday. I know you will. Olivia watched helplessly as the babysitter left. A single tear went down from her face. The babysitter who was my mother to me left me behind. I still wonder why she didn't adopt me. Ah, that must have been rough. Oh, it gets worse. September 18th, 1937. Wake up. Olivia opened her eyes and looked at Mother Eve, still tired. Oh, please, just a few more minutes. She was dragged out of bed by the ear. Stupid girl, not obeying me. I can already tell you're going to be a devil child. Olivia yelped in pain as she was dragged. After she was out of bed, she went to the other children to eat breakfast. Olivia was treated differently from the other children. She was disciplined more often, and she was fed less, and she was even neglected when sick. She never really truly knew why, but after dealing with this for 13 years, she had enough. Oh, hang on, I'm thirsty. There's a bubbler outside my office. I know. Olivia got her drink and went back to the office. Okay, so here's my favorite part of well-deserved revenge. April 7th, 1949. It was midnight on her birthday. Olivia had one thing in mind, which was killing someone. Olivia sneaks into Mother Eve's room, a pillow in her hands, and after staring at the sleeping nun, she gets to work, proceeded to smother the nun, smiling as she struggled for air. Finally, all movement stopped. Olivia escapes from the orphanage. Satisfied with the crime she committed, she just went out to the street, but then a car hit her, and she ended up dying from her injuries, and she went to hell for murder. I think I'm the youngest person to go to hell. I still feel like I'm 19, but I'm probably somewhere around my 60s. Well, I understand why you wanted to kill the nun, but the fact you don't regret it is rather concerning. Oh, please, you'd want to kill the person who mistreated you for years if you had the chance. Now, I think I will tell you the final part of my story that proves that things aren't always hunky and dory in hell. A month ago. I'm sorry, Olivia, it's terminal. You have 6 weeks left to live. What? I'm already dead. How can I die again? Well, you have late stage of liver cancer that has spread. I know that, but why am I going to die if I'm already dead? I wish I had the answer. Olivia then walked out of the doctor's office feeling depressed. She was dying and she still hadn't found her father. Oh dear, I'm so sorry about your illness. Olivia then walked out of the office, noticed someone that looked like someone from the paper she kept. She made eye contact with that demon. Father? The demon seemed to recognize her voice. Olivia? Yes. The two went close together and hugged, tears of joy streaming down their faces. It's a good thing I found you, Father. I'm running out of time. Alistair looked at his daughter for a second. What do you mean? Olivia was choking on words now. I have late stages of cancer. I have about 2 weeks left until since my diagnosis was about a month ago. Alistair felt silent, tears streaming down his face until he reunited with his daughter, and she was dying. Let's make them the 2 best weeks you've ever had. Thank you. Alistair spent the next 14 days doing some father-daughter stuff. However, on day 14, Olivia was too sick to get up that morning. Alistair knew what was going to happen. so he stayed by her side. You know, I heard that there's no afterlife after you die in hell. Well, I'm not too sure about that, but at least you're dying in the comfort of your own home with your family by your side. Thank you, Father. This is always how I wanted to go. Olivia was tired now, but she didn't want to sleep. She just wanted to live a little longer. Alastor noticed his daughter's struggle. You can rest. Please remember, I love you. Love you too, Father. Olivia closed her eyes and fell asleep, and never woke up from her slumber. Good night, sweet girl. I'll miss you so much. Alastor began to cry, knowing that he had lost his daughter for good. 2 weeks later, after visiting his daughter's grave, Alastor went to Danville's office again. Good to see you, Alastor. How are things? Well, my daughter has passed away, but I'm happy that I made her final days enjoyable. However, I'm a bit curious about you. Tell me, how did someone as kind as you ended up in a place like this? I'm sorry about your daughter, and as for my past, well, it started after I divorced my life. July 18th, 1998. Peaches, I'm leaving you. All you do is treat me like garbage. I'm a human being, you know, and I'm sick of it. Sign the papers. I want nothing to do with you. Peaches signed the papers. She ended up getting the house and the money, and Danville assumed that he could still manage with his job. However, he got fired because the office he worked at ran out of funds. Danville had no choice but to live on the streets. I was upset that I was homeless, but I didn't want to lose hope. You see, I was a Christian. I thought God would guide me through difficult times. But you still ended up in hell? I know, that's the fact that the next part of my story. July 26, 1998, 6 p.m. He's running again. He's running because he stole something, and he finds was a hiding place in the alleyway as he eats a stolen bread after saying a quick prayer, thanking God for food, but also an apology for sinning. He notices something next to him, a needle, still full of drugs. His curiosity got the better of him and proceeded to inject. It didn't take long for him to realize how stupid that idea was. As he was dying, he clutched his stomach and rosary and begging to God to help him. His prayers were never answered as he backed out and gave a final breath. Why on earth did you inject yourself with that random needle that you found was a good idea? I honestly just wanted to escape. Here's the final finale. July 26, 1998, 6:11 p.m. Oh God, you're waking up. Danville opened his eyes and found himself in the hospital room. He smiles, thinking someone had saved him from death. Oh, thank the Lord, I have been saved. Not really. You're already dead. Someone found you passed out at the gates. So I'm in heaven? Nope, you're in hell. Danville sat back there for a second, contemplating on the news. Oh well, I guess there's not much I can do now. Once Danville got out of the hospital, he started his new life. I decided to become a therapist, and I wanted to help people. That's good. I must be going now. Alright, bye, Alastor. Alastor left the office and went home. He stares at the picture of his daughter. It hasn't been the same without you, but at least you died knowing I loved you. And that, my little pretties, was Olivia's therapy session. A Hazbin Hotel Feels Pasta, written by Jocelyn Morning. Now, this is a sequel to Alastor's therapy session. So this is kind of basically the same thing, but except it's different because this is focused on Alastor's daughter, Olivia. My final thoughts on this story. Well, it's a pretty decent story. I'm going to give it that. Although I remember reviewing Alastor's therapy session, I noticed there was some flaws, but there was like a few flaws in this story, like one of them being the dates that, the dates that were, well, weren't that really accurate at times, so it was quite confusing. But the story itself was actually pretty neat. Like, it's a really well-made story. Like, it's sad. Like, it basically involves, Olivia going to the therapy session, and she ends up talking about Alastor. Then she ends up finding out that she has cancer, and then she ends up dying, which I have to say is really sad. Like, dying from cancer is, like, really sad. Because every time I hear that in, like, a TV show or something of a character having cancer, it honestly breaks my heart because, cancer is, well, cancer, basically. And I remember I remember a character in Arthur named Miss O'Grady. I think that's who it is. I don't remember. But she had cancer in an episode of Arthur. And I do remember Arthur did tackle that subject matter. I can't really remember what the episode's name was. I'm not really sure because it's been, years since I last saw that. But I really do like how, the story had a really good, the way it tackles the subject matter when it comes to Fields Pastas. Now this one, I really am glad that Alistair, got to spend his last moments with his daughter. Because, I honestly feel bad for, Olivia for having cancer and having to only have 2 weeks left to live. I mean, it's really sad when you come to think of it. Like, I'm glad Alistair got to see his daughter before, she died in, hell, basically. So, yeah. And there's definitely that. The grammar of this story was pretty good. Although, I did spot a few grammatical errors in the story. Like, I saw a few, spelling errors in the story a few times, and I did spot a few grammatical errors. I think there might have been a few punctuation errors as well. But other than that, it was really well written. I actually do find this one to be, really amazing. Although it is, a decent story because it's not really perfect. It's kind of like the same thing. It's basically almost the same thing with Alistair's therapy session, except this is focused on his daughter. It's not repetitive. I'm just saying that it kind of is similar to Alistair's therapy session. That's just me, but, it kind of depends on how you view it. It's basically how I'm viewing it. But, with that said, it's just basically here or there. Now, basically, I found this story to be decent. It's kind of almost the same thing as Alistair's therapy session, but I still found this story to be good, though. It's still a good story regardless. I still find this one to be, fun, amazing, and entertaining. I actually do find this one to be a pretty good pasta, all of its own self. But like I'm going to say right now, and like I always continue to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas or Fields Pastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 because it's basically almost the same as Alistair's therapy session, but this one's focusing on Olivia. It was sad towards the end when Alistair's daughter dies, but at least his daughter was there, and at least Alistair got to see his daughter before she died. At least that was the most important thing. And, the grammar was good in the story too. But I did spot a few grammatical errors and some few spelling errors in the story, as well as a few punctuation marks. So those have to be fixed up. But then other than that, it's still a pretty good story. Now, yeah, that's why it's getting this 7 out of 10. If there's anything that I'm missing that probably I didn't point out, feel free to leave me now what that is in the comments below, because I'll be able to get that. But I do apologize that the review is not as long as I normally do tend to do them, but that's just my opinion here or there. I might have maybe missed something. I don't know. But anyways, what did you guys think about this creepypasta or Fields Pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better. Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.